Hey everybody, welcome to my review of David Ayer's Suicide Squad. Now I have to admit I was very concerned when I saw the critical reception to this film, and I am very happy to report that they are dead wrong. When I went into the movie theater, I was kind of nervous, I was tense, but I ultimately left very satisfied. And let's just get into the things I liked and then the things I didn't like, which is a very smaller list than usual. And I'll give you my final verdict. So, the things I like, let's start out with the main thing it has been toting all along its characters. Margot Robbie nailed Harley Quinn. She was fabulous, she's funny, she steals all of her scenes, and she gained the essence of her character and their comic counterpart. There are tons of callbacks with her. It's just really funny. And talking about her other lead, Will Smith. Now, I was a little bit concerned because Will Smith had a very long career beforehand, and that was quickly put to rest when I saw the scene with him on the rooftop. And it was his performance is dynamite. He killed it quite literally. Next, let's go into Jared Leto's Joker. He did very well with what he was given. Now, this was not my preference for the kind of Joker I would like to get, but he did a very good job with the material. I will say this. And next, let's go into Killer Croc, who was one of the comic relief characters. I thought he was a bit unneeded, but his comic relief was a welcome addition to the film, and he is like an evil version of Groot, and he's just so great. And like now, let's go into one of my more favored members of the team, who is a top contender, but there is one woman above him, and that member is Jai Courtney's Captain Boomerang. I thought he was hilarious, he's charming, and I'm actually going to add him to my cosplay list. And now, as for that other member above Jai Courtney's Boomerang, Katana. Katana was amazing. She's awesome. She's badass. I wish she got more screen time now, and that was her only drawback. But I would love to see her come into the Justice League film because she was not part of the Suicide Squad itself. She was another agent alongside Rick Flagg. Now, Joel Kinnaman's, I'm sorry if I'm really mispronouncing that, his portrayal of Rick Flagg was good. It felt natural. It felt soulful. He put emotion into his role, and it really came through. And it was a nice addition. Plus his comic relief with Will Smith and their chemistry together, it was just great. Next, Slipknot, who was the real MVP of the movie. Let's be honest, and will have a long impact on the DC cinematic universe. Now let's move on to Enchantress, um, who was a pretty solid villain. It's your typical ancient evil, awoken kind of villain, and I'm gonna go into more on her later. But she did very well in her role, and it was good. And next is Viola Davis's Amanda Waller, and she was stunning as her, other than one moment which I will talk about later. That kind of felt out of the character, but I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. So I believe that's everybody. The characters were all fantastic, and I remembered the one character I forgot. Not that he's forgettable. He was actually a really good standout character. It was El Diablo, who was a very nice addition, and it was a very humanizing aspect of the Suicide Squad, and he's just killed it. So, moving on from the characters, let's get into the plot. So, the plot was very simple. Something very bad happens, and they have to go and stop it. Now, the thing I really like about the DC Cinematic Universe, no sequel ever feels tacked on. They the events of Suicide Squad towards the end with the Enchantress's machine increases the urgency for Ben Affleck's Justice League. And if the consequences from the previous two films carried into this one, and I feel like the consequences from Suicide Squad will carry over into the Justice League movie pretty well. And I'm not sure how Wonder Woman's going to fit into that because it's technically a prequel and very first on the timeline, but it'll work out just the same. And the pacing was good. Now we're going to get into my sort of things I didn't like. Now, the pacing in the beginning, in my opinion, wasn't that good. It is, in my opinion, what I call montage acting, where the actors couldn't, get a beat in and let things come natural. It did feel like, let's get this information out as soon as possible. But as soon as we get to a government scene where, where they start invoking Task Force X, then the pacing really picks up and we go into the rest of the movie, which is just kick-ass. The scenes are all nicely shot. The characters come through very, very strong, and it's very nice. But the beginning was a tad choppy for me. If 5 out of 10 is completely average, I give this movie a 7 out of 10. It's very fun. It's very action-packed, and I would highly recommend this to anybody. Go see this movie and go support the DC Cinematic Universe. And I will catch you guys next time when the new Star Wars movie comes out.